Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, my fellow classmates. I know that my fellow teachers already made a video presentation in which they tackled the first three macro skills, which are the listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So at this moment, I'm going to discuss the last skill, which is the writing. And to be specific, that is practical task of mastering the mechanics of writing. So the objectives of this lesson are first to stress out the importance of mechanics of writing. The second one is to describe the differences of the English consonants to English vowels. And the last one is to identify and explain the different writing paths. By the way, I am again Carla Angela Urban. So let's now start. Let's now come to the skill of writing according to Elite Olstein. So Elite Olstein is actually a professor of language and education in the University of Jerusalem. So for her, writing has a special status. Through writing, you can communicate hundreds of messages for known and unknown readers, and this compels us to be respectful of a series of aspects and rules involved in the process of writing. She added that it's a medium to communicate our thoughts, so we have the chance to the readers to perceive clearly those underlying ideas or intentions. So we all know that writing is one of the four macro skills of language, and it's actually the last skill to be learned. And we all know that it's actually a means to communicate our thoughts and ideas. And it's also a form of expression that enables the writers to connect with their audience or with the readers. So in every literary pieces or writes-up that were produced, there were actually rules or prescribed rules that writers follow. And when writers express their thoughts and ideas into written form, they as well express their intentions and their purpose to their readers or to their audience. Okay, next, let's now come to the mechanics of writing. So what do you mean by mechanics of writing? So it says there that it refers to letter recognition, letter discrimination, word recognition, basic rules of spelling, punctuation, capitalization, recognition of whole sentences and paragraphs. So after the early stage, we actually focus on expanding the rules, spelling rules. We focus on capitalization and punctuation. We cover some comprehension, and most importantly, we um, focus on producing sentences and short paragraphs. So the time devoted to develop the mechanics of writing actually serves the acquisition of both reading and writing. So meaning to say, when the students learn how to read, they also learn how to write at the same time. So meaning to say, these skills, both reading and writing, are interrelated. They have strong connection with one another. Okay, so as learners write, they actually start the process of um, recognition of elements. They also somehow conforms to the English language system, which also support in acquiring or learning the mechanics of reading. So like what I said before, that these two are interrelated, that these two have strong connection with another, because the interaction and the relationship of these two have been stressed out in the language, and they were given more emphasis at the early stage. Okay, moving on. Okay, let's now come to the sound spelling correspondences. So we all know that our writing system is based on the Roman alphabet, right? And we all know that there are some difficulties related to orthographic rules that the learners may experience because of this. And we all know as well that English writing system is governed by so many rules. And one of that is it has a systematic set of sound spelling correspondences. So I remember when I was in high school, our teacher in English, of course, asked this question. She asked, which is more difficult? Is it to pronounce or is it to spell? I guess I realized at this moment that there's no need to answer whether which is more difficult, because I believe that these two should be given both an equal importance. Okay. So because when a child mispronounces the word, it can actually make it difficult for her to spell the word correctly. So on the other hand, if the child learns to clearly and correctly pronounce the words, can actually give him or her a chance, a greater chance actually, of being able to spell the word correctly. Okay. I just related that question because you know what? Spelling and pronouncing the words are related to the sound spelling correspondences. So when we say sound spelling correspondences, these are letters, sound correspondence, or the relationship of the letters in the alphabet to the sounds they produce. So these are the key components of the alphabetic principle and learning to read. So these are actually tools for teachers and somehow for adults so that they can be sure of their consonant sounds, they can somehow be sure of their sound correspondences, and most importantly, they can somehow develop the vowel system. Okay. So speaking of the sound spelling correspondences, let's now move on to the first, the English consonant. Okay. The sound of consonant letters should depend on the environment they occur. Okay. The letter C can have the sound K or K when followed by the vowel letters A, O, or U. So as you can see in the examples, the word call, cook, and cup, diba? Though these words have or begin with letter C, they actually produce the sound K or K, okay? Or they can actually have the sound K or K when it's followed by the consonant letters L, R, or K, as in click, crew, and rocker. And it has an S sound when followed by the vowel letters E, I, or Y, as in sell, cinch, and cyst. So all these rules may appear confusing to the learners, but I guess they should be introduced, they should be practiced from the very start. Okay, so moving on, the letters G in English demonstrates a similar case. When followed by vowel letter A, O, and U, or the consonant letters R and L, it is pronounced as in gas, go, gun, grass, and glow. However, before the vowel letters E, I, E, and Y, the letter C is pronounced as in gin, jam, and gin. And the consonant letter H is very powerful in changing the sound when its environment is varied. As you can see in examples, CH as in chair, the SH as in shirt, and the TH as in theater. So, meaning to say, it is important that we have to alert students to the fact that not all English correspondence is between letters and sounds. It's actually between letters and its immediate environment and the relevant sound. Okay. Okay. And let's now come to the silent consonants in English. So teachers should be aware also that there are many silent consonants in English. So as you can see, there are, I guess, 4 enumerated here. So the first one is the K or G before N, as in knock, me, no, and no. So we all know that when these words contains the letter K and N or G, but these letters, the K, G, and N, are silent, meaning to say they are not pronounced. Okay. The L after vowels and before K consonants in several contexts, as in would, could, walk, talk, cough, and have. Again, the letter L is also silent, or they are not pronounced in these words. Okay. And the third one is the GH after vowels, as in through, sight, it should be with T, sorry, light, and cough. Okay, so again, the GH is also silent in these words. Okay, and the last one is the word final B and N after M, as in comb, thumb, autumn, and column. So when teaching consonants and sound correspondences whose own alphabet is similar to that of English, it is important that teachers should focus on the unique features of English writing system and its irregularities. But when teaching students coming from different alphabetic writing system like the Arabic, the Russian, the Chinese, the Korean, teachers should focus on the they should focus on every consonant letters. Moving on, let's now come to the English vowels. So the vowel letters in English are more complex with regards to the sound spelling correspondences, but they still have the consistency and predictability. So there are actually two basic types of English vowels. We have the first one, the consonant vowel consonant, which is known as the environment for the short vowels, or they are known for producing short sounds. And the other type is the CVCE. These are words that contain a consonant, vowel, consonant, and then the letter E, which is also being silent. And the number two type is actually known for a long vowels, or they produce long sounds. Okay. So the environment CVC in all five vowel letters, A, E, O, U, occurs as simple lacs, as in, when we say simple lacs, they are produced with relaxed muscle. And take note, they are non-diphthongized. We all know that when we say diphthong, these are actually a sound formed by a combination of two vowels in a single syllable. So in these examples, pan, pen, pin, pot, and butt. So these are words that produce short sounds or short vowels. Okay. While the number two, it says there that, however, the same five vowels in the CVCE environment occur with tense and diphthongs such as pain, pit, pine, rope, and cute. Again, these words produce long vowels or produce long sounds. Okay. Moving on, let's now come to the monosyllabic words. We all know that when we say monosyllabic words, these are words with one syllable. So the rule there, it says if learners know the rule when need to add inflection, as in ing, to the final syllables stressed verbs, it needs letters doubling. So as you can see in the example, the word there is seat. So when you add the inflection ing, it becomes sitting. So the letter T there is being doubled. And the polysyllabic words, so the same rule can actually be applied here. So the example word there is begin. So it's actually stressed on the last or on the final syllable. That's why when you add the inflection ing, it becomes beginning, meaning to say the letter N there is being doubled. But if the final syllable is not stressed, so then double letters is not needed. So for example, the word open. So open is actually stressed on the first syllable. That's why when you add the inflection ing, so it doesn't need letters doubling, as in you can pronounce or spell that as in opening. So the letter N there is not doubled. Okay. Let's now come to the classroom application. So how do we teach mechanics? So first, to enhance letter recognition, especially when learners are from different learning systems. The second one is practice sound spelling correspondences. And the third one is to help the learners move from letters and words to sentences. and larger units of the score. So these are the ways on how to teach mechanics. Okay. Let's now come to the types of recognition tasks. So there are actually three. These are first, matching task. Second one is writing task. And the third one is meaningful sound spelling correspondences practice. So this task or these drills can be actually carried out using paper and pencil, or you can actually use computer or digitalized lessons. Okay, let's begin with the first one, the matching task. Okay. So the major objective of this task is to practice the quick and effective recognition of English letters. It focused on recognition and do not require either writing or pronouncing the letter or word. So matching task enables the learners to develop the effective recognition habits. So the purpose is to letters to be recognized, meaning to say no pronunciation and no writing involved here. Okay, I have here an example of this task. Okay, so here, as you can see, letters or learners, should somehow distinguish particular letters within other similar letters. Okay, as you can see here, okay, nakalagay po dyan na direction is find the odd man out. So the task here is to distinguish particular letters within the other letters. Okay. They also need to somehow match the words beginning or ending with a similar or capital letters, as you can see here in the number 2. And the students can also search for certain letters within a group of different letters, as you can see in the letter C here. So this is an example of a letter recognition activities. Okay. Let's now come to the second, the writing task. So the major objective of this task is to allow students to produce shapes of the letters, both as recognition and the production task. So it actually begin with tracing letters on the printed page, and by this way, I guess students can actually focus on the detailed characteristics of letters. So I also have here an example of the writing task. So as you can see here, it actually starts from the basic formation of letters, as you can see there, and it can actually lead to a meaningful writing of words or even sentences. Okay, that is an example of a writing task. Okay. Moving on, let's now come to the last recognition task, which is the sound spelling correspondences task. So the major objective of this task is for learner to match the individual sounds or sequence of sounds and words with the written form. Students can also be able to pronounce the written forms and thus practice pronunciation. So the sound spelling correspondences task actually requires the students to focus on the pronunciation and the written form or shape of the spelling pattern. And actually in this task, the teacher can read the words or the students can actually listen to a recorded drills. So the focus of this task is listening and recognizing corresponding sounds to the relevant written forms. So spelling environment is also important in this task. Okay. So I also provide here an example. Okay. Here. So nakalagay po dyan, practicing sound spelling correspondences. So the letter A and all and all. So actually this can be read by teachers. So it's up to the teachers if what strategy she'll be using. Okay. Okay, let's now come to the next one. Okay, the more advanced writing tasks. So actually there are 8, but I'm just going to simply and briefly discuss what are these tasks all about. Okay, what are these more advanced writing tasks? We have task description, audience description, format cues, linguistic cues, spelling and punctuation cues, practical writing tasks, emotive writing task, and the last one is the school-oriented task. Yung task description, that task actually help the student in presenting the task or the goal of the task, and it's important. So initially, the teacher can actually provide the task, and then later on, the teacher, or I mean the student, can produce their own task, but they have to define this task. Okay, that's the task description. But the audience description naman, it actually helps the students in developing an understanding of an intended audience. So what's their background, what's their um, needs, what's their expectations. So the teacher can actually give or guide the students in writing an authentic message to letter to others or to friends. Okay. While the format cues, so this helps naman the students in planning the overall organized um, structure of a written product. Okay. And the last one, I mean the fourth one, the linguistic cues. So this cues helps the students in making up grammatical structures or vocabulary choices that are actually appropriate in the message or for a certain message. And the spelling in the punctuation cues, which is the number 5 there, it actually focus or help the students to focus their attention on the spelling rules. So they can actually use the dictionary here or the computerized spelling check so that they can actually see or verify the accuracy of the spelling. Okay. And the practical writing task, which is the number 6. So this task naman is actually procedural in nature and it has a format. Okay, so this task naman focuses on the morphology and some more spelling. Okay, the emotive writing task, which is the number 7. So this includes personal experiences, such as the writing of journals, the writing of letters, diba? And the last one, the school-oriented task. So here, the students are required to write summaries, write their assignments, or even answers to the questions. So these are some of the more advanced writing tasks. So if you can use this advanced writing task, you can actually modify this different advanced writing task. Okay, let's now come to the last one, which is the conclusion. Okay. Teachers should be encouraged to use variety of writing tasks at all learning levels and particularly at the beginning level. Writing is a skill that enables the learners to plan and rethink the communication process. It therefore provides the learner with opportunity to focus on both linguistic accuracy and content organization. The mechanics of writing are important in the initial stage of learning. I do agree with what says here because using variety of writing tasks also provides an opportunity for students to learn in various ways. And it's also important that the teacher should encourage the learners of English to actually produce meaningful sentences through exercises that centered on the development of writing skills. And most importantly, teachers should take into account the student's level of linguistic and discourse proficiency to be able to develop what we call writing skills. Okay. That's all for my presentation. Class and I hope you really enjoyed this presentation and I hope that you learned something from this discussion. Thank you very much and see you all.